Hello everybody, I'm Epigee and I'm here to talk about Cuphead and why it's bad. With every video in this series I want to highlight and lowlight the game, analyze, condense, and summarize so you don't have to compromise when you consumerize. To start off I want to ask, what is Cuphead? Well, Cuphead is the protagonist of a loosely plotted story in which the sentient creature with a cup for a head must pay back his gambling debts to the devil by fighting, and assumedly killing, those who owe the devil money. I'll be honest, the plot isn't really that important. It's not a story-driven game. In fact, I'll propose it's not even a gameplay-driven game, although the gameplay is compelling in a masochistic sort of way. This game is entirely driven by, lives, and dies by the art style and the personalities of the boss characters. This beautiful 1930s early Disney cartoon style is a throwback to simpler times, and a refreshing, albeit retro, take on the game aesthetic. Every new enemy's boss's attacks, movement, demeanor all create unique personality which develops over the course of the fight. You want to see what happens next. You want to see what choices these characters make to thwart your assault and what clever ways they're going to show off their equally clever mechanic. And mechanically, it's really quite simple. You shoot, you jump, you dash, you parry, and the only real mechanical skill comes in through the parrying, which is almost always optional. You shoot the bosses, you dodge the attacks, and that's as simple as it gets. No puzzling, no problem solving, just shooting, dodging, and platforming. That being said, the dodging and the platforming are insanely difficult. The skill cap on the parrying alone is a mile high, with some of the parryings being near impossible, if not actually impossible to do without taking damage. This means that often you have to let some of the objectives pass if you want a chance at actually living. Every boss has a unique personality, yes, but they also have a unique set of attacks and a unique set of precursors to those attacks, which you're going to have to learn via the only way that a boss rush grinder game like this could teach: death. Horrible, repetitious, unforgiving death. You're going to die 20 times on the same stupid part because brains are only meant to handle so much new information. So until you get the muscle memory and that starts kicking in, you're playing Scrabble blindfolded with greasy fingers. The devs do provide a simpler difficulty, literally called simple, while the other game mode, regular, would be what one would imagine the game should be played on. However, who's going to play simple? I'm not secure enough with my ego to admit that the game might be more fun if I was on simple. I am regular, and not even my therapist is going to tell me otherwise. If they simply switched the names from simple to regular, and from regular to hard, I can imagine a lot of people having fun, more fun, especially the people who are attracted to this game for the simple art style and the characters. This includes, but is not limited to, old people, young people, non-gamers, nostalgia fiends, sleepy uncles, sentient cats, and the occasional parent who wants to share a part of a past generation with a new generation, and these people cannot be expected to perform what this game requires of them skill-wise, and as such, much of the content is going to be gated behind this skill wall. Those are the two main points I want to get across. The art style is beautiful and is the driving force in the game along with the boss personalities, but it's just too damn hard to get through to the parts that you really care about. The rest of this video is just going to be nitpicky small stuff on other problems that I have with the game, so if you're not interested, feel free to tune out, but here we go. Number one is the feedback from the weapons. When you shoot an enemy boss, you can tell when it deals damage because there's a flash of white light, but you have no idea how much damage it does. And when you have decisions to make based off how much damage you're expected to do, you run into problems trying to figure out which is better to use. Not only is there a problem with the gunplay feedback, but there's a score feedback problem as well. Time, HP, parry, super meter, and skill level seem to be the only things that determine the grade that you get, although grade doesn't actually determine all that much, it just makes you feel good about how well you did on the level. There are no standards by which I can compare myself. I don't know what a good time for a map is until I've completed the map, and either I have the good time or I don't. I didn't know what the skill meter thing was until I looked it up, and that it actually counts how many times you shoot off your super, not how many you've built up, not how many cards you've built up in the background, but how many times you've actually used it and maybe even landed it on an enemy. I don't know if you have to land it or not, and that's still not explained to me. This also is a game that would benefit greatly from a reset button. Anytime when you have a low amount of HP and you're expected to do really complex tasks over and over again, such as landing really complex parries, timing things in very, very small windows, and setting yourself up for an event that is going to take a long time, only to have you fail at the end because you took a little bit of damage early on, knowing the whole time that you're going to die at the end with the amount of health that you have. I just want to reset quickly. I want to hit one button and be done with it. Most of the controller isn't used at all, so I just want one button to be able to reset the game right to the beginning of the level that I was at, so I don't have to mess around with all the taking damage and all the knowing that I'm going to die. The last problem I have is with the map system, and that's because I hate when games do this. It's a non-linear linear game. It tries to sell itself as non-linear, and yet it forces you down a specific path. For instance, If you want to succeed and do well in these levels, you need to have certain power-ups. You need to have the triple shot, you need to have the trinket, you need to have a super, and the only way you can get these is if you do certain events that you don't have to do in order to progress. I got halfway through Act 2 of the map before I realized that I needed to unlock a super earlier in lap 1, that I just didn't walk down to the little mausoleum section and unlock that part. If the game had guided me to there or encouraged me to go there at some point, then I would have, but it let me progress to Act 2 without letting me do that, without forcing me to do that, which made me think, oh, I'm fine, I'll unlock this super later on, but lo and behold, I just had to go back and do it. I just wish they would just admit that the game's not linear, force you down a certain path, and it's fine. This game doesn't benefit at all from being non-linear. And then the final thing that I have to say about everything is that I absolutely love this game. I've been playing so much of it, it's almost hard to stop playing. I love it so much, and that speaks to my own masochistic tendencies more than anything. I want to push myself harder, I want to do better, I want to be better at the game because it makes it so rewarding. It's a strange addiction this feeds, to be able to almost speedrun something, to be almost good at it but just be off by a little bit, knowing that if I hit a button just a little bit sooner or in a little bit of a different way, or if I just looked at the right thing at the right time, that I could have beaten it and I could have gotten a higher score and I could have done better, is really driving me to keep playing this game over the art style. The art style drew me in, the gameplay has kept me going, but that's just because I'm a masochist and a perfectionist. Despite that all, I really have to say this game is bad, though. I have to rate games not only on the gameplay, but also the experience of playing it, and the experience of playing it is good at first. You really like this new aesthetic, you like the new art style, you like everything as you take it all in, but very quickly does that aesthetic wear off, does that shock value for these new bosses wear off, and then you're left with a gameplay that's just really underwhelming for how skilled you have to be to pull it off. And if it sold itself as this really difficult game that you cultivate skill in and then master and you're rewarded for it, that's fine. It sold itself as this family-friendly 1930s style of familyness, and it's just too damn hard for being sold that way. Anyway, if you like this more kind of scripted video, please let me know. This is the first time I'm doing something like this. Alternatively, if you like the gameplay videos better, or the commentary that's more off the cuff and less scripted, also let me know. I'm just trying to find my niche and trying to figure out what I enjoy doing, and I think I really enjoyed writing a script for this and working through it. Expect more from me, expect more on Cuphead. I'm definitely going to beat this game. I don't know if I could stop playing if I wanted to. It's just, it keeps pulling me in. But thanks for checking this out. Thanks for seeing what I got to offer. Tell someone that you love them today. And for now, Epigee out.